Hi, it's Sociopath. I'm back again with Just Get It Done Quilts Declutter Challenge. It's currently day 17 when I'm filming this, but I have to catch up from 15 through 17, so thanks. So that means, and I saw today's was also the same as 15, it's scraps. I love scraps, so I'm excited to work on this. I'm actually in a mood to work on my scraps. When I initially saw day 15 was gonna be scraps, I was kind of like, man, I don't want to work on that. But today is a good day. Today is a day I want to work on scraps and like tackle, as she puts it, Mount Scrapmore, and I'm very excited about that. Yay! I'm in a good mood. I'm just like, today's kind of working well. It's early in the morning, so I have a lot of day left, which is good. To my scraps. This bin, make it look as big or as small as I want. It's not terribly big. Hand for reference. It's really not that big. This is a really nice bin for my scraps. I don't have a lot of space, as you guys have seen, so my scraps can put in this bin. Still near me. It's like a little bin right next to me, which is really nice. So I just toss them in as I sew, which is super convenient. I haven't been making a lot of quilt tops, so I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of new things in here that have to get redistributed in it. But there are a couple patterns that I do want to work on and figure out things for, so that I can start to empty this, because this is a little bit more full than I would prefer. Yeah, this is a little more. This is starting to overflow. I would like it to be that everything fits comfortably in here and you can't, it's not poking out. That's the ideal. I do have another way of just generally organizing that's not just this bin. And it's actually those boxes up there. Look, magically my shelf is clean. What? Okay, so I pre-cut my scraps typically. Larger cuts I try to keep because there's some scrap quilts that ask for a certain size cut, so I try to do that. But there's some things where it's like, it's a 3-inch strip, it's a 6-inch strip, something weird that I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna like, it's a small awkward chunk off a fat quarter. We're gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with it and then move on. So first and foremost, the smallest I work in is 1.5 inches. If it's not 1.5 inches squared, it goes in the bin. I personally can't deal with anything smaller than that, so that's my limit. So I have been working on just 1.5 inch log cabin pieces. I have a whole system for this. There's some like midways of a bunch of them, and I have my stack of like finished. This is as small as I go, and this is like the thing I do. This is just a quick, like, nice, and these can also be leaders and enders, which is really, really nice, that I'm like, I'm in the middle of a quilt, I can work on this at the same time. I love that. So that's that. That's the 1.5 inches. That's my limit. I know some people are like, I keep little itty bitty 1/2 inch scraps and stuff. I can't bother. I also don't like the selvages. I toss those. Those are kind of, I'm not at a point where that has value to me. I should probably save it because somebody else would love it. But I'm not to that point where I want to bother keeping everything to sell it. I'm working with 100% cotton. It will eventually break down, I hope. So there is that. Yeah. The other size I work in is 2.5 inch squares. Now, I will say, because my next two sizes are also standard cuts that you can buy, I do put charm packs in here as well. Mainly just because in case I need them for something else that I'm using a 2.5 inch square scraps or whatever for, I have them in here already. I love a good 2.5 inch square. I have a quilt that is specifically for my 2.5 inch squares called the Gridlock quilt, which is in one of my books that I have. It's the one with the plastic bag with all of the little blocks that finish at 6 inches, that I mistakenly said 6.5, but it's really 6 inches finished. Those ones with the little mustache. That's probably even more exciting to remember. Those ones, I have this. that this is in the back of the book. It's the like a finished quilt. I don't know if I'm gonna fully do it, but for now I have it. But I am working on a bunch of just blue. It's just gonna be a blue quilt with 2.5-inch squares. So this is like where every single 2.5-inch square that is remotely semi-decently blue goes in this bin. And that is the gridlock quilt. That one can basically be a 2.5-inch, just a bunch of pieces. I'm specifically working in a very specific way, like just in case I end up adding like certain pieces of fabric to it. I don't fully know what I'm doing. We'll find out. So yeah, so I had the 1.5-inch, the 2.5-inch, and then I have 5-inch squares. I mainly did 5 inches so I had a larger block size. I don't put a lot in here except for like little chunks, and then my charm packs. Charm packs are the other thing that end up in here. I do a shop hop that gives you a free charm every time you go to a different store. They'll give you one little 5-inch square fabric, which is awesome. I love it. And I will keep all of those fabrics in a plastic bag from that year, and I eventually just kind of like slowly use whatever I want. But I am having a little bit of an issue with, I don't really like 5-inch pieces. So this bin is kind of useless, doesn't get used a ton unless I find something that I really love that's like, we want 5-inch squares. Okay. So this is the bin that's doesn't get used a lot, and typically anything that's like a full 5-inch long piece, I keep it just in case I can use it for like 1/8 of a yard or something. There's a lot of things that I can tend to use it much more likely for, and sometimes I need a 3-inch like strip or a 4-inch strip for a pattern that I'm like, hey, this is perfect. So I don't cut up a lot of that stuff. It's great for if I have a small piece from a fat quarter and I'm like, hey, it's about 5 inches. It can get tossed in here, which is really nice. Otherwise, I don't really use this bin. And that's all of my smaller scraps. That is the first video, I think, for 15 through 16 and 17. Oh, day 16 deals with batting scraps. I've just started collecting batting, actually, like my scraps of it. I didn't keep it for a very long time. I have a garbage bag in my closet that has the larger cuts that I've kept just because I make table runners sometimes, or placemats, or like I can make a baby quilt out of it. It's a pretty large cut still. But I've recently started to save like my small 2-inch or 1.5-inch cuts. That's fairly new. Yeah, that's fairly new, and I have some things that are gonna have to get plushed and filled, so I have plans for those. I just haven't gotten around to it, and I literally just started saving my small cuts. I didn't have a home for them before, so I just threw them away, because they took up space, and I was frustrated. Now they have a home. It's great. It's just a Joann's shopping bag, but it works. So yeah, that is my batting scraps. So we're not gonna really deal with day 16 at all. So we're just going to be kind of discussing 15 and 17, dealing with scraps. So, yeah. Oh. Okay. All right. I'm gonna sort my scraps, I think, by color first, just because it's been a minute since I've done that. And then we'll go from there. We'll find out. Well, thank you. I think sorting fabric is one of like the most calming things to watch. And I don't know if anybody else likes watching it, but I like doing it. So I was like, well, if nothing else, I'll do this. Plus you get to just like see all the fabric I have. My crazy choices I have, at least. Alright. Oh! Ooh, what is... Oh yeah, I have a stack in front of me I need to go through. Okay. This is like a brown. I know I don't have any browns, though. Like, what's the point of having this? I'm just gonna make a side pile that you guys can't see. This is from my first quilt. I can't believe I still have fabric from my first quilt. That's 9 years ago now. Goodness sakes. We'll call this yellow for now. I can always steal it later on. I also have been English paper piecing. Not a ton, but I did get this little thing. It's gonna not show up very well on all of this, but I did get this done, and I need to put a white, like 19-inch square behind it and like applique stitch it to the square, but I did that, and that was, I thought, very good for my first real attempt. So I'm excited about that. Okay, I really did toss everything into this bin because I'm just finding all sorts of random stuff in here. I now have to set up my next English paper piecing project because school started back up, but if I don't have a project quite underway, so I gotta start looking at that too, which is also what some of these are hopefully gonna get turned into, some of these scraps, the next project. I have a lot of bigger cuts of purple. I must use it as backing a lot. I do like purple though. Thank you. It's a little like annoying to think about English paper piecing right now because one of my assignments for school is that I have to hand stitch. We're going through a couple of different hand stitches right now. So I've been like back stitching and basting and doing cat stitches and stuff. So it's been a little bit annoying, but I'm kind of like, I like hand sewing, so it's fine, but it's also like, man, I'm gonna have to get graded on some hand sewing soon, and I don't know if I really want to be doing any hand sewing for my free time. Get to the blacks. All right. Black fabric, my favorite. All the Halloween fabrics. I love Halloween fabrics. Okay, I suppose the tulip pink one isn't fully like Halloween, but anything with bats I will. It always will fit into a Halloween quilt, which is nice. Grays. I just need like a miscellaneous color pile, I think. It really does, and I'm not against learning the stitching or anything, but it's kind of, I noticed I had to really force myself to come back to quilting after last semester because I had been graded so much on every single stitch I did that it was like kind of hard to sit down at my sewing machine and actually sew, because I was like, man, I just like the fun had kind of gotten taken out of it. So it was a little harder to come back and be like, I'm gonna sew again, this is gonna be great. It didn't feel like that, so it took a little while before I was sewing again, and so but oh well. I'm back at it in this semester. I want to make a bit more of an effort to continue sewing throughout the semester. I think that'll help. It just weighs on the mind sometimes, I think. Uh-oh, do I have more browns than I think I did? Look, more brown. Well then. I really like those colors together. It's pretty. Crisp white. This white, I don't know if it's going to show up. But there is just that slight dotted swirly pattern to it, which I very much like. I really like. I don't like white fabrics a lot of the time, just because I'm far too loud, or I like black. So that was a fun white fabric to work with. Look, more brown. Got like a tan going on. And then this table runner only needs 5-inch squares. So there's one, and I know I have 5-inch other scraps. So, okay, let's start with, I think this one will be easier to just kind of wham bam out. So let's start there. Okay, there's that. And I think it's everything for this quilt. Yep. And then just the, yeah. And then this, the border, I will figure out as I need it. Yeah, cool. That's going in a project bag. I feel good about that. I feel happy about that. This is nice. Awesome! Ted gave me a weird look. Ted, you want to say hello? Alright. But look, I have a nice empty bin. Okay, that's a lie. I have a scrap in here. It's black scrap. Ooh, there's a couple of them. Okay, now it's nice and empty, but with like a couple pieces of fabric. Or thread, yarns. It just looks like a black abyss in there. Okay. I will, I think, put the white on the bottom. Purple next. Brown and gray. It's not going to be in rainbow order. That's going to make somebody mad. But I'm trying to put it in a way that goes in kind of the order I would use them. There's a bunch of colors I just straight up don't use that much, though. Let's be real. I love this bin. I got this bin at IKEA, and this has been the smartest bin choice I've ever made. It sounds so dumb, but I just don't like bins that much. Like, I just have the worst time. Oh, look how clean my bin is. Oh, this is nice. Okay, this is good. I feel better. The goal of this bin was that you could see towards, like, if you looked at it, it wasn't overflowing. And I can put this in here and it's still not overflowing. This is good. I have accomplished the thing I wanted to accomplish. So this is good. So, I don't even know where to begin. It has been a week and a half since all that other footage. I've just been busy, I think, is what a lot of this is. I will hopefully be making the last 18 to 21. It's just a matter of if it's going to be in the next week or not. Yeah, school ramped up a lot faster. This week I have hours and hours of homework that I'm like, all right, how do I do this? How do I do this efficiently? So that is where I am at. But yes, I will do days 18 to 21 at some point. And yeah. We're almost there. I keep having to remind myself that. But otherwise, I think that's everything. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you were looking forward to, if you've been decluttering as well. All those happy things. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Goodbye.